We are live with WooCommerce Office Hours, episode 21. Woohoo! So this is the big welcome back to WooCommerce Office Hours. WooCommerce Office Hours is a time where you can bring your questions about WooCommerce e-commerce system, and I will answer them. And also sometimes we'll have guests, sometimes we'll talk news. It'll just be it's really just a time to add value, answer questions, and help people out. So I'm your host, Daniel Espinosa, and I ran about 20 episodes of this last year and partly the year before, and had a really great time with it, moved away from it, and now I'm restarting it. So this is a hour-long hangout that will happen once a week, Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern. And yeah, it's and this year, instead of focusing solely on the questions and sort of presentation mode, it really is just going to be a hangout. I'm going to tweet out the hangout link for people to join. I have a couple of questions people submitted that I'll answer, but really it's for people to join and to get their questions answered. So while I sort of share the link out to a couple of people, I'm going to go ahead and add that to a couple of places. You can submit questions by joining the Hangout and sort of asking them live. You can fill out a contact form on my page, or you can tweet using the hashtag WCOH. So any one of those is a great way to get in touch with me. Okay. Just tweeting that out. All right, so let's see. So we got a couple of questions here that we're going to talk about. So we'll see. So great. First question is from Gregor, and I don't know how to say his last name, Grosselj, Gregor Grosselj. And he submitted a question from Facebook, actually. And his question was, I appreciate the solution to the following. So his scenario is, we're using a dropship method, and our suppliers are coming from different countries as well as buyers. So as an example, we have a buyer from Austria, which has added 5 items to his cart. First item comes from the US, the second comes from Germany, the third from Australia, the fourth from China, and so forth. So each product comes from a different location, and only one of them comes from his home country. So would be considered, I guess, domestic shipping. Everything else would be international. And from different suppliers as well. So I would like the shipping cost to be automatically calculated on the checkout. Calculation needs to be done based on the seller's and the buyer's location. So would you know of any plugin that could do the work? And your help is greatly appreciated, and we look forward to the answer. So cool. So thanks for your question, Gregor. So the situation he's talking about is that this is a store that sells products sourced and shipped from multiple places. So he's not consolidating all of the products into one warehouse in one location. He wants to sell them online and then have the actual provider or vendor ship those items to his customer. So this has 2 issues with it. The first one is how to get accurate shipping rates. So a product that's shipped from Austria to Austria is going to cost something different than shipping from China to Austria or from the USA to Austria. So he needs to provide accurate shipping rates that then the client will pay at checkout. And then also he needs to actually get the order data to each vendor so that they'll know what to ship and who to ship it to. So addressing the first question, that is the shipping rates. You're probably not, if we talk default WooCommerce, you're not going to find a shipping method out of the box that's going to give you good rates from multiple locations. WooCommerce will set one default location for each store and then base the shipping rate on where the customer's at. So you're going to have to use a third-party plugin, probably either a shipping provider like Odoro or something similar that would do multiple sources to one shipping destination. Or you can use the table rate shipping class table rate shipping plugin and set it up to have calculation for each shipping class, and then maybe set up a shipping class per product. So if one product sources from Germany, you can set up a shipping class to say, this product shipping to the rest of Europe costs $10 or 10 euros. This product shipping to the rest of the world costs an extra 10, so $20 or euros extra. And then the next class would be assigned to the next product, if, depending on where it was sourced. If it was sourced from China, and then it would have a price for, or a zone for shipping within China, shipping within Asia, and then the rest of the world type of thing. So it can get pretty complex fairly quickly. So, but that's two ways to do it. Use either a third-party provider who you'd use their plugin to send them data and then send them the cart and sort of receive back information. And that provider would need to know about the origin of each one of your products. I haven't come across any third-party providers that I've worked with, but I'm sure a couple of them, when I was Googling through about it, Odoro popped up. So they're either doing that process or they're doing really well in the SEO for it. And then also, using table rate shipping will probably be your best bet. But in that case, you're going to have to know what each sort of product shipping from each location is going to cost you, or else you could, greatly miscalculate the shipping for each of those products. So let's see. So the first part is getting shipping costs to your customer. The second part is getting the orders to suppliers. So if each product has a vendor or a supplier, then you're going to have to send and somebody purchases 5 products with 5 different vendors. You're going to have to send 5 different order notifications to each of those customers, to each of those suppliers, with just the order information that they have for them. There's a couple ways to do that. There's a manual process where you can use WooCommerce order customer export CSV plugin from Skyverge, and then sort of cut out or parse out each one of the order fields per line, and then group together each of the products to each, say, your China vendor, your Germany vendor, your Austria vendor, and send those CSV files to them on a daily batch basis or on a per order basis, and then they would get processed and shipped out to your customer. Or you could do it the route of having a add-on plugin that would handle the drop shipping sort of notifications for you. And so another quick Google on the drop shipping front, because I know this is something that's been asked about for quite a while. So there is a $200-ish dropship plugin that I wasn't interested in buying to try out, but there was a Code Canyon one that was $20, so I bought that. So I'm gonna go ahead and set that guy up, and we can see how it works. And this is the first time I've ever installed it, so it will be interesting. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. Okay. So this is the WooCommerce dropship plugin that comes from Code Canyon. So we've got some documentation, and then we got the plugin zip file. So I'm going to load up my test store. Bring that over. Okay, so this is just a local install of WooCommerce that I used to do some testing and development. Okay, I think everybody should be able to see my screen now. Okay. All right, so I've got a bunch of random plugins. I'm going to go ahead and add that dropshipper plugin. load it up and see what we got. Okay. Plugin install failed. Package cannot be installed. No valid plugins found. So the zip file did not install correctly. That does not bode well. So let's, I will just install it manually, see if we can go from there. Let's see, where is that guy? Okay, right here. Let's see if that loaded up. All right, so here we go. So I'm also going to keep debug mode on just to see if any random messages pop in. So we activate the plugin. Plugin activated, fantastic. So let's see if we've got some extra methods over here. So we have a menu option for dropshippers with a little caret. Let's see. Let's go ahead and also open our WooCommerce settings panel, see if anything was added there, and our products. Okay, so dropshipper settings. WooCommerce dropshipper settings, show prices in dropshipper email. Sure, why not? Show full prices to dropshippers. No. Billing address. Okay. So these all look pretty straightforward. Footer text, the dropshipper packing slip, a logo setting, which is nice. So a little bit of customization of what gets sent to each of the dropshippers. So we're using email in this method, not sort of a file batch upload or anything like that. Show the shipping method. Show the shipping method on the dropshipper's email. Put the state completed. Allow dropshipper shipping fee. Okay, so all these look fine. We'll save and just leave them as is. Okay. All right, so next, we're going to go to open up bulk assign, dropshippers list, and import export. I like seeing import export because that always saves time if you have a feature to import export. So it looks like we don't have any dropshipper set up, so nothing populates in the bulk assign list. So let's go add dropshipper. So nothing here. Okay, so let's see if we can add a user with a dropshipper as a dropshipper. Username, dropshipper. Actually, I want to use something that works. And I think works. Daniel dropshipper. All right, so we have user roles dropshipper. Go ahead and add that. I'm going to set a really weak password and approve that because this is just a local install. Cool. So we have dropshipper set up. Let's see if we can assign them to some products. Let's say that I have a bunch of demo data installed here on this local install from the WooCommerce demo data. So I'm going to see if I can assign this guy to be a dropshipper for those products. Okay, so user dropshipper, 0 earnings so far, hasn't entered the PayPal address. Let's go ahead and update that. PayPal. I do not see an entry for PayPal. So that's disconcerting. So let's see what we see as a dropshipper. Dropshipper and test. Okay, well, log in. So if I log in, I have dropshipper settings. Okay, so there's my PayPal email. momoney@dropship.com, and I'll leave my currency US dollars. Cool. So that's what I see when I log in. Looks like I have a list of orders, and we'll see if we can come back to that and see orders here. Cool. So got a dropshipper set up. Let's go ahead and bulk assign this guy to some products. So we're going to say that dropshipper is going to get the category of hoodies. He's my hoodie hookup. Assign. Sweet. So let's go look at the hoodies and see if anything was updated. All right. Categories. Category. So nothing here. Hoodies are on the next page. Hoodies. So let's check this guy out. Nice. Okay, so dropshipper was assigned. Mr. Dropshipper is set to accept these orders. Hey, Doug, how's it going? Good to see you join.
Howdy.
We're just walking through this dropship plugin that I found in Code Canyon. So someone had asked about how to set up dropshipping and shipping methods and stuff. So I haven't actually. I just bought this about an hour ago, and so I'm walking through and learning as we go, which is interesting. So cool. So actually, let's buy a hoodie and then just make sure that that gets sent to who we expect it to be sent to. Okay, so it's a Woo logo hoodie. Add to cart. And view cart. See the checkout. All my info is there. Check out with Stripe, so it seems legit. And place order. So the dropshipper here should get a notification of the order via email and also some information here. His product was purchased. Stripe's still chugging along. Sebastian, how are you doing?
Great, you?
Doing good. Where are you connecting from?
Vancouver.
Cool. Thanks for joining. Okay, so we got a bunch of emails after this order was placed. Let's see. So we have the basic new customer order. And let me see if any of these are to admin. Okay. So none of these. Okay, yeah. So this is what the dropshipper gets. So the dropshipper gets you've received an order, and then here's the detail. And then the earnings weren't set up, so there's not really anything here. So this gives me the billing address, which is the billing address of the store, and then the shipping address of where to send it to. So cool. So yeah, I mean, that seems to work. So I was able to set up dropshipper. Set up an association between that dropshipper and products, and then set up, and then when orders or purchases were made, the dropshipper got a notification of their products being ordered and who to send it to. I'm refreshing the dropshipper dashboard, and it looks like the order information is there as well. So actually, there are a bunch of errors on that page, but yeah. So they see two orders, actually one order of the hoodie, and has all of the shipping information and the billing information. And the errors were related to a deprecated function. So the plugin author needs to update their code to be cool with the latest version of WooCommerce. So awesome. Before I ask you guys if y'all have any questions, I got a question off Twitter from Devinder Singh asks, for digital downloads, which is better, WooCommerce or easy digital downloads? So this is a show all about WooCommerce, so I'm going to say WooCommerce. No, it really depends. So funny thing is, for development is a WooCommerce / EDD consultancy, and I actually have built plugins for both. My plugin shop Plugins sells using EDD, and the reason for that was because it was at the time it was easier, and this was about we started in February. It was easier to do download bundles and software licenses with EDD's plugins, and they were all made by the same author, so they married really well and they really worked well together. So that was the platform I went with. I had actually built out a WooCommerce download site for development, but didn't put any plugins for sale on it. So when I finally built shop plugins and built the shop, I went with EDD. So I'm not going to say that either is better, but just there are a lot of plugins, there are a lot of shops using both. I would talk to Brad Tusnard over at Delicious Brains. Delicious Brains sells on WooCommerce, and they've done a lot of custom coding to get sort of some of the functionality that they wanted from it that didn't come with either the base WooCommerce plugin or with the software licenses add-on that WooCommerce sells. So and he has some pretty specific use cases and experiences that he's had with that. So, and then you can always ping Pippin on Twitter about EDD or talk to one of his staff, and they'll talk to you about it. So I hope that answers your question, Devinder. It wasn't really really a conviction either way, just whatever suits your use case and whichever one you're used to, because you are going to probably end up doing some sort of customization or add-on plugin to get some functionality that doesn't come in the base product. So, all right. So Doug or Sebastian, do you guys have any questions, or are you just here to hang out and chill?
Mostly hanging out. I do have a little something I can add to the previous question.
Cool.
Now, I'm not doing any downloads of software, so I don't have to deal with licensing, but I'm doing a tremendous amount of downloads of PDF files and books and MP3s and things like that. Mm-hmm. And I'm doing that all through WooCommerce. I don't have any experience with EDD, but I can say that WooCommerce has worked really well for that.
So I have a question for you on that, actually. So you're selling MP3s as downloads?
Yes.
How are the products grouped? Are you selling? Because I actually had this on a previous project. So the customer wanted to sell, say, a pack of 10 MP3s as sort of an album, but then also wanted to sell individual MP3s as maybe a bundle. So I'd pick track 1, 7, and 9 and purchase those. Do you have a similar sort of setup, or do you sell them all as a one downloadable bundle?
We do it both ways. One of the ways that you can do a bundle altogether, of course, is just to put them all into a zip file. Mm-hmm. But as far as individually, WooCommerce will allow you to have multiple files attached to a product. Mm-hmm. And you can do that even with, you can use some of the bundling extensions also, like chain products, for example, or something like that. But what we would typically do is set up the individual files for part of a package, unless there's just a tremendous number of them, mm-hmm. As individual files on a product. And then the advantage of that is then the buyer doesn't have to figure out how to get them out of a zip file. Mm-hmm. The downside is they would then have to download each one of those individually. Yeah. The other thing that I think is a real key is a lot of times you'll find that servers can time out on downloads, especially if you have large things. And so I always put mine on Amazon S3, and I'm using the S3 extension for WooCommerce, and that completely solves any of those issues. You can mark a file on S3 with a header that tells it this gets downloaded and not opened in the browser. so that it will always download, and that eliminates a lot of problems with those kind of things.
That's handy.
That doesn't completely answer your question of how do you do it so you can sell individual tracks and a whole bundle together, but you can use the same files in both ways, and I might set them up as, if I wanted individual tracks, I might set those as variations on a product, but then make one of the variations be the whole package together.
Cool. That sounds good. Yeah, and I think they also wanted everything encapsulated into one product page. So, add entire album to cart or add individual items to cart. So yeah, it was
sure. Variations do that for you.
Yeah, it's true. Cool. Sebastian, do you have any questions?
Not really. I was just hanging out, seeing how this works. That's
Cool.
it.
Thanks. Yeah, glad you're here. Yeah, it's really informal. I have about 5 questions that were asked and that I'd love to talk about. And that first one was the biggest, most complex question, so I started with it to get it sort of out of the way. But yeah, it's just a time to come in and ask questions and get answers, and just to share expertise. And it's nice that people like Doug join in who have real world experience of running a shop and running a business using WooCommerce, because Doug's been all through the process of creating products, marketing them, shipping them, fulfillment, order returns, just all of that stuff. So because I just build shops and I don't do a lot of the management and sort of order fulfillment and run through stuff, questions that focus on that sort of get met. I don't have the greatest answers for those. So I like the expertise that brings.
It's always nice to hear the real world working.
Mm-hmm. Agreed, definitely.
Yeah, and always good to see what others are doing and gain from some of different angles on things that we may not think of. Hey, one other thing on the downloads, there is an extension, and I can't remember if it's one that Woo sells or elsewhere, that allows you to, I think it's made for music tracks specifically, where it will automatically allow you to bundle up a group of things at the time of sale and let the customer choose if they want them individually or all together. I sort of think it's a WooThemes one, but I can't remember.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a actually when I worked for Woo and I had to support the bundles and the chains and the different grouping of products, I still didn't understand that. And I think it's mostly because I didn't understand the use case of how people were selling items and how they would want to sort of dictate how things could be grouped. It was a bit of a challenge. Let's see, your statement made me think of something that. Yeah, so there's Brian Krogsgaard shared with me a new plugin. I haven't tried it out, but the demo site looks pretty cool. So let me share this real quick. So this is rapidorderplugin.com. So this isn't an endorsement because I have not been able to use it yet or try it. But you can see in the GIF here, it's sort of you can add a bunch of products to a page and then change quantities or include the item in your order and then change quantities on the fly. So that's sort of what it's going for. I think, let's see if there's a demo. Try it. So in relations to our discussion of adding multiple products type of thing. So yeah, I mean, it looks like it's just like the GIF. There's a bunch of Ajax happening as I change items. And the cart gets updated each time. Oh yeah, we're going to buy a lot of these cookies. Here we go. Get a little chocolate. Got some cookies and milk. What can't go wrong with cookies and milk. So view cart. Yeah, so it looks like everything was added. Not sure what don't sub means. That's some order meta or some item meta that was added. I'm not sure what that means. So the 2 milk, the mango, 3 of the chocolate chip cookies, and then the dark chocolate. So Pretty slick. I don't know who. Let's see. I'm not sure who the author is. It was listed at the bottom. Nicholas Verweimeren. So yeah. So free plug for you, Nicholas. Hopefully your plugin works really well. But yeah, I just thought that was cool. Maybe I'll buy it and try it on a future office hours. All right.
I did find that other plugin. It's the WooCommerce bulk downloads. It is from Woo.
WooCommerce bulk downloads. Okay. Let's check that out. Made by Bryce. Good guy. Okay. Share screen. Bryce Adams is a nomad, and I like watching him cover the earth, travel the earth. So yeah, so bulk downloads. Download all Earth selection of your download products into a single zip. Cool. Okay. Awesome. So there you go. So select all or just a couple of. When was this shipped? I needed this on that project last year. Okay. So apparently it was available and I just didn't know it. Cool. So you can add subsets of a product. Let's check out the docs, see if there's any admin screenshots. So there's a sample video, usage, configuration. Okay, so looks to be a.
Now that doesn't control whether you're selling one or multiple tracks.
Yeah, so this is just.
It's just for whatever you buy. The customer can then choose for fulfillment if they want the file or individual things.
Thanks for the clarification. Okay, so this is in the My Account area. Okay, yeah. So My Account area. So once I've purchased this, do I want to download just this one in a zip or all of them? Okay. Interesting. So that doesn't do anything to the product page. Good to know. Cool. All right, let me see. Don't have any questions. It's interesting because I take questions via contact page, Twitter hashtag, and I turn on the questions setting in Hangouts. So, but I always forget to check that one. So, okay, looks like we're cool on questions there. Checking the hashtag. Okay, we hit Devinder, and then we're cool in there. Cool. All right, so let's go check out the other questions that I had lined up. So, second question, and a couple of these were from the Advanced Facebook group, Advanced WooCommerce Facebook group. Nikki asked, I have a client who charges Canadian prices and wants to make it obvious beside the dollar amount. Is there a way to make that happen? And this is actually answered before I could write anything in there, but there is a pretty easy hook to add some text to each of the price displays, and that hook is WooCommerce _currency_symbol. So let's go ahead and show an example of that. Okay, share screen. Okay. So this, I'm gonna set. She's saying that her client is selling Canadian dollars. So let's say this is in Canada, and currency set to Canadian dollars. So this is just the WooCommerce-based general settings. So if I go look at the site right now, I'm going to see $. That's about it. So yeah, so just $2, $9, that type of stuff. What she's wanting is to make sure that people know that this is Canadian dollars and not US dollars. So let's see. I'm going to open up the functions file for this site, and I'm just going to use the theme functions for now because it's easy, and I can ideally it would be put into a plugin or something outside of the theme, or maybe into a child theme so that it doesn't get overwritten when you update stuff. Okay, so I'm currently using 2012 in this test site, so let's add here. So here's the functions file. And the demo, or excuse me, the documentation is from WooTheme's site and has a pretty sort of self-explanatory gist added in there if you want to, if you know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing with this code, then it might be a little bit challenging to get going. But so I'm just going to copy this. There are actually two hooks being added here. One is, or two filters. One is WooCommerce currencies, and this is adding a currency name to that list of currencies in the general area, right here, and then adding a symbol for that specific currency. So we're just going to add a symbol. We're not going to add an extra currency. So cutting and pasting that into the functions file. So this will get executed and hooked into the WooCommerce currency symbol. I'm going to add a CAD front of that, and I think CAD is the, let's see if I did that right. Okay, so now all of the prices are displayed with the CAD string in front of it, and that'll go through each of the category, product pages, checkout, anytime that WooCommerce displays a price, it'll prepend that symbol with the CAD string. Very simple, very easy. It's one of those things that I think might be actually. It's not included in the base plugin, but it's something that people may want. A handy plugin, and this will be Skyverge's second plug of the day, is their WooCommerce Customizer plugin, which is free on .org. I don't know if that covers it, covers the currency symbol, but the Customizer plugin they have on .org has a lot of these type of sort of small adjustments to the base WooCommerce plugin settings. So super helpful. Let's see. I don't know if it's on there, and I'm not going to dig into it now. But yeah, so using that just is really easy to add into your functions file to add that. And usually searching for, or usually Googling for something like that will come up with some documentation from WooTheme's site with some associated code snippet. Okay. Let's see, next question. I have too many windows open. Ever had that problem? Okay. All right, so the next one was Beth Banner asks, and this one was from Advanced WooCommerce as well. Has anyone set up a WooCommerce site that has one handling fee for the US and a different handling fee for other countries? The client is shipping US Postal Service with the US Postal Service shipping method plugin for WooCommerce. She doesn't want to use the flat rate shipping. So what she's asking is that she has a client who's shipping US Postal Service and using the WooTheme's US Postal Service shipping calculator plugin, which takes the items in the cart with the origin and destination, sends it over the Postal Service calculator, and then receives back live rates on different shipping methods. Customer can choose one. It's added to the order, added to the cart, and they check out. What she's saying is she wants to have a handling fee that's based on just U.S. Addresses, and then a different one for all other countries. So I actually answered that one because we have a plugin that handles fees really well. And go ahead and share screen real quick. All right, so yeah, it is loaded here. So WooCommerce Advanced Fees, made by Yurun Surmani. We sell it over at shopplugins.com. And activate it, and if I go to WooCommerce settings, and I will have this nice, actually, did I activate it? Don't know if I did. Should have fees. Advanced fees. It is active. Going back to the settings page. Reload. Let me turn off a couple of these other plugins I'm running. Don't need dropshippers anymore. That was it. I have other. This is a problem with using a development environment on a live show. You have a bunch of random stuff loaded. All right, should be just base WooCommerce. Subscription, Stripe. Yeah, those should act nicely together. All right, let's retry this. So, fees. So they want to charge something different for people in the US than people in other countries. So what I did was I can add a fee. And let's just say if US people get charged $5 handling and the rest of the world gets charged $6. So I'm going to say that the country is equal to United States, and we're going to add the handling fee. Now the Canadian dollar still gets added no matter where we're at. Super duper. So add $5 standard handling fee to these orders. Go ahead and publish that one, and then I'll go ahead and sort of to do the rest of the world, I'll just do a country not equal to the United States. Now I'll cover the rest of the world. So add that. Non-US handling fee. Country not equal to United States. And let's say that they get $10. Or sorry, handling fee, $10. Publish. All right, so let's review those and make sure I did those right. Turn to overview. Okay, so we have a US-based handling fee of $5, non-US handling fee of $10, and I'm going to delete this one because I think that was for another answer. Cool, so let's go buy something. As a guest. So if I go to the shop, and I'm going to add a t-shirt, and I'm going to be purchasing from the US. So and US is entered, so handling fee of $5 automatically shows up. But if I'm actually buying from the Ukraine, that'll update, and the handling fee then goes up to $10. So that's how that works. So with WooCommerce Advanced Fees, it's really easy to add a handling fee based on the shipping country of your orders, and yeah, and then go on from there. And so the U.S. Postal Service charges that she wanted to add would be separate from that handling fee. Cool. All right. So next question. Next question was from PostStatus Slack, and if you guys haven't heard of PostStatus, this is a plug for CrowdGuard. PostStatus.com is it's a membership site that that gives you access to not only all the latest and greatest news inside of WordPress, the whole WordPress ecosystem, via daily or semi-daily notes, emails that are private. It also gives you access to a Slack channel with a bunch of other WordPress professionals who are in there talking about e-commerce, WordPress business, sort of general WordPress news. So all the news about Calypso that came out yesterday when it was released by Automatic, there was a good discussion going on in there. A lot of really influential and knowledgeable people in there who are willing to help, answer questions, and yeah, it's a great community. Love being part of it. That's poststatus.com, and then click on the club link at the top, where it talks about the membership club. Super duper worth your money to get access to that. Anyway, so in PostStatus Slack channel, Anu asked, trying to get his head around how WooCommerce subscriptions and WooCommerce memberships work together. I want to have a membership type of a premium membership that has a monthly and a yearly option. So do I set up a single membership and then set it to unlimited time, and then do I add two subscription options and associate them with the premium membership? So actually, CrowdGuard and I sort of tag teamed on the answer to this in the Slack, and then a couple of other folks. The people representing the companies that make WooCommerce memberships and WooCommerce subscriptions answered. So another bonus to PostStatus Slack is you get access to people who make really popular and powerful WooCommerce plugins. So WooCommerce subscriptions handles recurring charges. So if he wants to charge either an annual or monthly membership, WooCommerce subscriptions is where you would define this item gets charged every month when it gets purchased. The next month it pops up, it charges the card again, or annually. The next 12 months, subscriptions will wake up and say, hey, this guy needs to get charged $200 again. Memberships handles the restriction of content. So memberships will say, Doug is a member of PostStatus, so he logs into poststatus.com and is able to access the members only area. So maybe the area where there are some notes that are just for members, or the area that has the deals that are given to PostStatus members from some of the patrons of the site. So you can access some coupons from WooThemes, Gravity Forms, a bunch of other cool people who put their codes in there for members. So memberships is the code that says Doug's logged in. Is Doug a member? Yes. Grant him access to the content. No. Give him this other content that says why he should be a member. So that's how the two work together. And then the way that he is setting up his premium membership, he could just set up two. Let me see how that item was answered actually. He could set up two separate products, that would actually grant access to a membership plan. So the membership plan would be club member, and then the WooCommerce product would be purchase the annual or the monthly, and that could be a variation. Subscriptions says we're going to charge it every month or every year, but when they purchase that product, that's what then ties through to memberships to grant the access to the. We were just joined by my kids. Hello.
Oh, you can hear us.
You're on the live on a Hangout.
Okay. Sorry, bye.
Bye. So, as I was saying, memberships grants access to content, subscriptions, handles the recurring purchases, and then the WooCommerce handles the actual products that they're buying. It's a bit of a confusing at first, but really it's really well, they're really well orchestrated and architected to work together for for creating a membership site or creating sort of a premium premium content access club type of thing. So lots of happens with live shows. Sometimes your wife drops in to say hi. All right, let's see what else we got. I think in the future office hours, when I have a bit more time, I'll walk through setting up a WooCommerce subscriptions, WooCommerce memberships set of sites, so you can sort of see how the three work together. So we got about 10 minutes left. Let me just make sure I'm not missing anybody's questions. And I think we're looking good. I'm gonna pull up all the different areas. I think we're good for now. I'm using my Twitter handle and then also @GrowDevelopment, really focusing on @GrowDevelopment, so I have to switch between the two and see what we have asked. So cool, I think we're good on that. Yeah, I think that's it. As far as news, WooCommerce news, the next version of WooCommerce is being set up for release candidate, and I don't know the dates of that, and I really, really should. A good place for WooCommerce development news is woocommerce.wordpress.com, which is the Develop WC blog. And yeah, so WooCommerce 2.5 Beta 1. So Beta 2.5 Beta 1 was released on November 9th, so definitely download that and test with all of your plugins and themes and make sure that you're going to be compatible for the new one. And then watch the GitHub area and watch the GitHub repo and this site for updates. Actually got into a discussion with somebody on Facebook, which that's a problem right there. I don't do that. But just about testing beta versions, and I know there are a lot of plugin and theme developers who don't like testing beta versions, but you really got to test with beta versions just to make sure you know what's coming down the pipe, so that you can be ready when the next version ships with an update to your plugin or theme, so your customers aren't left with a broken site. It's just not a good thing to sort of say, oh, we'll update when it ships, and then it takes you another week to update your plugins, and they possibly saw the update notice, hit update inadvertently, and are left with a broken site for a week because, yeah. So if you're building on a platform, you got to know when the platform is going to update and when what changes are going to come. So that is the end of my soapbox on that. But I think that's it for questions. I'll save the other ones for next week. Guys, thank you for joining me. That was fun. Thanks for coming in. I hope you learned something and it was helpful, Sebastian and Doug. And it was a good first episode back. And WooCommerce Office Hours will be every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern. And then I'll repost this Hangout. I'm going to do some light editing just to cut out some of my ums and my dead air, and then repost it back to YouTube so it's available, and put some of the links into some of the plugins that I used and some of the products that I referenced and things like that. So like the Develop WC blog. So hopefully it was useful and helpful, and we see you guys next week. Bye.
Thanks, have a good day.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.